But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
Beauty. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
That is right, Brett Walsh. What is going on, boys and girls? Welcome back. This is the 81 square meters of the best volleyball coverage on the internet, the 9x9. It's episode 130. Man, it is Wednesday, my dudes, October 9th, 2024.
Hey, there we go.
And both Everett and I are in weird places. I am in a random hotel room. I'm Rob St. Clair in a random hotel room in the United States. That is Everett Delorme in his apartment in Toronto, right? But in a different place.
Yeah, I'm currently in the living room. I have no power on the second floor of my house for some reason. We went to go to bed last night and plug in my phone. I was like, oh, this isn't working. What's going on? And tried the breaker. I went to the hardware store today, Rob St. Clair. This is like a handy one. Went to the hardware store. I bought a breaker because when I looked it up online, I was like, maybe the breaker's just broken. So I bought a breaker, took a picture, knew exactly what model I needed. He was like, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for this and this. And he was like, I got you. Went back, unscrewed it all, took it off, replaced the breaker, flipped it, went again. So that's great. And that's why I'm currently doing this and all of my work in the living room because I can't access my desktop upstairs.
Great. Fun. Good times all around, but nobody in the volleyball world cares about what Everett and I are doing. There's still stuff to talk about. And
no, they care about us, Rob.
They care about us very much. Yes, of course. All you care about us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for dealing with our weird, crazy schedules. It was an interesting week, Everett. It seems like the season is just getting started, and already the theme to me is that outside of a very, very select few teams, volleyball across the board is wide open.
Wide open. Unless your name is Canigliano at this point, I think it's fair game to almost absolutely anyone.
And look no further as an example of this.
Numero uno.
And NORV Częstochowa in the Plus Liga. What on earth is going on over there? 2 massive wins this week. A 5-setter over the reigning champions, Jastrzębski Węgiel. A 5-setter, I think, yesterday over Zaksa. Say what you will about Zaksa this year, but Zaksa is Zaksa. 2 5-set bangers. Milad Abadapor looks great. My boy Quinn Isaacson with the Chicago Stars tattooed on his thigh looks great.
I think
Patrick Indra from the Czech Republic looks just as great. This team's fun, man. Fun.
31 points for Indra in the win over against JW, and Thomas Fornal even came out and said it afterwards that this just shows how good this league is and how open it is. Milad Abadapor looking way different than he did last year in the Superliga. This is a resurgence of Abadapor, maybe not playing that much with Iran this year, and them not having a packed schedule really helped him quite a bit. He looked fantastic, but from what I saw, Rob, I really love the rhythm with which Quinn Isaacson is setting this team right now. He just has this ability to feel the emotion of a team and feel the flow of the team. He's a really, really good flow setter, and you've got some guys just flowing right now. And you can tell from the game against JW and the game against Zaksa, and I was actually lucky to tune into both of them. In JW, it was all Patrick Indra, and it was just feeding him those monies. He was using Abadapor and the other guys to open some things up, but it was just all Patrick Indra. And then once you fast forward to their game against Zaksa yesterday, it was completely different. Indra just wasn't having it. Just wasn't really there. They opened things up with Abadapor, and everything's golden right now for this NORV team. I'm not too worried about these wins or these losses for JW or for Zaksa. I think both of these teams are quality, especially JW, right? But I do think that these 2 wins and these 4 points for NORV are potentially season defining and could already have saved their team from relegation early. Remember, everyone watching the Plus Liga needs to remember that there is 3 relegated teams this year. 3 relegated teams this year. So that means that the fire that was underneath the asses of all of these teams has now become a bonfire, right? this is going to be an absolute bonfire. And if you don't win, you're going to be going down. And
You're
so
out.
far, we've seen two teams that we would have thought be in that race. Czestochowa come up with some big wins, and also Kuprum as well. With
Same thing
Chizoba.
Yeah, shout out to Chizoba, but another team we'll talk about in a minute is MKS Benzin, who got a random 3-0 win over Olsztyn today. That's very surprising. Even Katowice has won a match. Like, talk about being wide open. And don't you think that the motivation of relegation doesn't exist, man? These teams know exactly what's on the line. These teams know that every single point in a very long season matters tremendously. And I just love watching this NORV team, like you said, because Quinn Isaacson can sling it. And this team's just playing with a lot. They're playing loose. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're having a lot of fun. They're figuring out different ways to beat teams. And I totally echo what Tomáš Fornal said, and it speaks to the depth of the Plus Liga as a league, which, by the way, you mentioned that you had the pleasure of tuning into those two matches live. How did you watch them live, Everett? How did you tune into them? What is this news that we've been teasing for weeks and weeks and weeks that finally got announced?
Finally, I forgot that this was announced
right?
like only last week, but finally, you can watch every single match of the Plus Liga on VBTV. And just by the way, you could use the code VS10 to get 10% off of your subscription onto VBTV. It is officially VBTV also, Rob.
Yeah,
I've tried to call it Volleyball World TV a few times at some beach scenarios, and I was quickly reprimanded. Not actually. But
yeah, so we've been waiting a long time, Everett. You and I got the word that contract was going to be in place probably a month ago, maybe a little before that. And it took a while to dot the I's, cross the T's, figure it out. But now everybody worldwide can finally watch the Plus Liga, which is just fantastic. Great news. We've been waiting for it for a long time. So no more begging people for live stream links in the Discord. You know where to find them now. So that's awesome. Shout out to NORV. Very fun week for them. I mean, two just massive, potentially season defining wins, just like you said. The other team on kind of the other side of the discussion that I want to talk about is Lublin.
Lublin.
The only undefeated team in the Plus Liga as of right now. They're not in the lead in points because Warszawa's played one more match, but they are 5-0, a perfect 5-0. And
if you had told me this at the beginning of the season, Rob, like, we knew this team was going to be good. We knew this team was going to be better. Remember, this is only their fourth year in the Plus Liga, right?
Point.
Last year, the fifth place finish was doubling their best ever finish, which was a 10th, right?
Point.
And then all of a sudden, here they are this year, and they are 5-0 to start the season with wins over Zawiercie. Of course, there's an asterisk because they didn't have Aaron Russell, but this weekend they handled Skra, and Skra had been previously undefeated,
right?
And it wasn't even close. It was domination by Lublin, and then they absolutely. The word I want to use in my head is too vulgar for how they handled. Like, it's how they handled Resovia. It was bad. Like, this is a team that not only has some fantastic players on it, Rob Sinclair, but the chemistry that they have early, the passion that their fans have early. I'm ready to say that right now in the volleyball world, this is like a top 3 team in the world right now. Like, if remember back in the day when I used to do like the power rankings like week to week, I would put Lublin as the like. How could you not say that they're the best team in Poland right now? With who they've beat and who everyone else is losing to, there is no doubt in my mind right now that they are the best team in Poland, hands down.
At this very moment, I think it's hard to disagree with that. I mean, as the old, I think it was Bill Parcells, the NFL head coach, said, "You are what your record says you are." Only undefeated team in the deepest league in the world. I mean, we can talk about what's the best league in the world, Italy versus Poland, but I don't think there's any debate at all that Poland is the deepest league in the world on the men's side. And yeah, Lublin is doing it with, like you said, chemistry, which is difficult to have built this early. Wilfredo Leon looks awesome.
12 for 18 against Skra.
Straight up untouchable, like not even on crazy high volume. Kevin Sasak looks good. The middles look great. I'm a huge fan of the combo of Finn McCarthy and Alex Grozdanov. with Thales at libero. That's a very well-built roster with how the foreigner limits work. And I think kind of the most pleasantly surprising player out of all of this got to be Benny Tweenstra, who, even though he was bad against Skra, he's been pretty darn good overall and like very serviceable. Like you would think that him next to Leon would be a bit of a reception problem, but it kind of hasn't. I've been impressed.
No, I really think that Thales Haas has the ability to settle that down. Like his ability, and I think he's a reception monster.
Oh yeah,
I really think he is, and his ability to just take a little bit more space in either seam, especially when he's playing that 6-back role, really allows both of them to settle down. And I don't think that Leon is that terrible of a passer either. And I do think that. Whereas I think that I will say that I think that the Italian league might be a slightly better league in terms of serving. Like the service pressure in the Italian league might be slightly better, and that's somewhere where he's able to get away with it a little bit more in the Polish league, where the serving isn't as elite on a continuous basis, and you're able to settle things down.
I don't hate that take. I mean, people have picked on Leon in reception for years, and I don't think it's so much that he's a necessarily super weak receiver, even though statistically in Italy he was never a great receiver. But it's more like you just want the best hitter on the planet to touch the ball more. Like you just want to make him work a little harder to score. And right now, he's scoring. He is scoring 21 against Resovia on super high efficiency. Tweenstra was good in this game. Shout out to Marcin Komenda as well, running the show at the setter position.
Comenda's been doing it. He's so serviceable and just does a super solid job. Yeah. Every piece on this roster right now is just doing their job, and I really think that I can't wait to talk to Finn about it. And I think we're gonna have to at some point, just because that's going to be a direct into arguably the most interesting team in volleyball right now. Especially like everyone. This is. Like, are we going to see a Wilfredo Leon resurgence? Like, what does, and this is a really early to get into this conversation, but let's be Stephen A. Smith here for a second. If this season and this change to Lublin can what happens if Lublin wins a Liga this year with Leon at the head? That I know I'm stretching, but there was literally a moment when they were like absolutely crushing. I'm going to write maybe in the chat what I want to say to Resovia. Can I do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not. We'll keep that for the Discord.
Allude to it. Oh, yeah. Put it in the Discord.
We'll keep that to the Discord. But and I was just having these fantasies and just being like, if Lublin goes and wins the Liga, what happens? Like, what happens next? And I know I'm getting way ahead of myself. It's early into the season. They're only 5-0, but still, chaos all around. Chaos all around, and there's one calmness in this storm right now, and that's Luke Lublin.
Well said. And yeah, who would have thought, honestly? The best part about this to me, at least in the way they beat Resovia, 13 stuff blocks, including 5 from Leon himself, which is just disgusting. And Resovia needs to do a little bit of figuring of it out. Statistically not good across the board for really anybody, even Bartosz Bednors, who led him in scoring, I wouldn't say it was super good. Dude, so they just got handled.
This Resovia team has been struggling. 1-3 to start the season, and I mean they even got 3-downed by this Lublin team in the preseason as well too. Resovia has been on the struggle bus for sure, and I thought that in the post-Drizga era that this team was going to surge, and we really haven't seen that. Chebul was brutal, 14% efficiency. Even Bednors wasn't great at a 26% efficiency, but Stefan Boyer, 2 for 8 with a minus 12% efficiency for Resovia. This team is really, really not looking good. I don't know. Right now, I'd be willing to say that Lublin is going to finish top 4 over Resovia.
Oh,
right, I mean, this moment, no doubt about it.
In this moment, that's not a hot take at all. Resovia will figure it out. I mean, Boyer didn't play all summer after the ankle injury. They have a new head coach, have a new setter. I still like them on paper, but and they've had a hard schedule, but yeah, so far not super great. Let's take a look at all the results that there have been since our last show, and there have been a lot.
Yes.
Katowice got a win. They beat Barkom Lviv. Barkom Lviv is now the only team in the Plus Liga without a win. Not great there. They still have 0 points. We brought it up earlier, but Benzin beating Olsztyn today in a 3-dong. That's bad. Olsztyn right now sits in relegation position. Tough one. And then a game that I watched on, I think it was Monday, was Warszawa absolutely laying the wood on my pick to win the Plus Liga, Zawiercie. That was a donging. 15, 23, 19? That match was not close. So Warszawa looks super good, and Bartłomiej Bołądź could be the best opposite in the league. I actually think as of this moment, he probably is the best opposite in the league.
I mean, Kaczmarek has been bad. And bro, like the hate for Kaczmarek on TikTok recently has been interesting.
Everett, talk about your recent TikTok experience, Everett. What have you been getting into with just cultivating some hatred over on that lovely platform?
Whoa. Let's not say that. Let's don't get me out there like I'm hate farming, actually. But I do think that volleyball TikTok has a lot of very basic level fans. Now, if you're a fan of this show and you watch on a somewhat of regularity, you are way more informed than the average fan. If you are a member of our Discord and you watch, or if you pay attention to any type of consistency, you are way more informed. The things that I see over on volleyball TikTok are hilarious, and it has kind of gotten to be a ritual of mine. Is just like, and most of the comments come overnight too, and I'm not going to pinpoint the region they're coming from majoritarily, but I think we all know. And so my thing the past few mornings has been like, wake up, make myself a cup of tea, and sit on the couch and go through TikTok comments. And there's a lot of people with a lot of strange and wild views. And I love it. Because if I see you talking a little bit of smack in my TikTok comments, I'm going to call you out. Right.
That's my favorite part about all this, is that you are welcoming the clueless people into your comment section, and you are on them right away about their dumb takes, and that's the best.
And I'm putting my nose into arguments happen. If the argument is happening into my comments, then I'm in it, and I will give my 2 cents. And also, because there's been all these blind rankings recently, and Shoji was one of the first ones to be like, let me do this. He's like, ha, psych, like I can't do this. And then it's just I've watched like Podraskinen do it. I've watched Botolo do it. I've watched so many different guys do it. So I've been like goading Shoji on TikTok and be like, dude, I want the tea. Like, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, so, Eric, as much as we love Eric Shoji, he's very much the positivity, never talk down on any one brand. Yeah. So like getting him to blind rank somebody 10th in a list is going to be something that'll be difficult, but I also want it. I want to make him do it.
And actually, so I've been waiting for Eric to acknowledge me on TikTok, and he better be seeing it, because the last blind ranking that I did, Rob, was actually with Sam, my partner. And so Sam did a blind ranking, and it was kind of my test of her to see how much she's learned about volleyball over like the past 5 years. And she actually did pretty well. I would all suggest to go onto my TikTok and rate how well she does. But yeah, check us out on TikTok. Maybe once I'm around Rob, we'll get him on some. I don't think he's ever. Do you even have the app?
I do. I am not currently signed into it, but I have the app. I need to get the VLA's password back. That's the way I was signed in before. Everett, I have a fun piece of news for you that I'll share with you after the show. Or you know what? I'll just do it now. I'm actually going to be in Toronto in a couple of weeks.
Ooh, what? When?
I'm going to be in Toronto in a couple of weeks. Like Monday, October, I think 28th that week. Are you gone for beach at that point?
I leave the 31st.
Okay. That
so that means we could do the show live in person that week.
I believe that we will.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. That's sick.
So that's fun.
Are you allowed to work hungover?
What anybody doesn't know won't hurt them.
Okay, great. Perfect.
So yeah, I'm just updating the link of your TikTok in the description. So that is now in there. Everyone go check that out. Yeah, so a couple of weeks might get a little fun in-person action. You can get me on a blind ranking on TikTok. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
sure. Back to the Bundesliga. What else do we have to talk about here? What other notable results in the last week?
Oh, Warszawa 3-dong Zawiercie.
Yeah, I brought that one up. That was a beatdown.
That was a beatdown.
Gdansk sucks, dude. I mean,
Gdansk sucks.
we kind of called it out in the preview. It's a rough roster.
I kind of like Skra. Skra
Yeah.
has been pretty good this year. Other than that beat down by Lublin, I think that they're like, where's Skra? I think they only have that one.
So yeah, their only loss so far is to Luke Lublin, the recent 3-dong. But while I do kind of like Skra on the eye test, I will clap back and say that they haven't played anybody yet. Their
right.
best win is over Kuprum.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they beat Olsztyn, Gdansk, and Suwałki. So not much.
But Amin has been really good. Amin has been really good. He actually got MVPs in his first 3 matches of the season, which is the first time that's ever happened for someone who's been first year in the Bundesliga. So that's a little tidbit for you there. But no, honestly, like watching the Bundesliga this year on VBTV has been so entertaining.
It's awesome, and we think that English commentary for some matches is coming down the pipeline sooner or later.
We hope.
Yeah, we sure do.
With maybe some familiar voices.
We'll see. There's a lot going on, boys and girls, and we don't even know half of it. So stay tuned for that. What else about Poland? Anything, or can we move on?
No, I think we can move on. Once again, unless there's any matches coming up to look at, Skrav or no, wait. I'm looking at all the matches here. Anything interesting coming up? Resovia, Katowice, W, Olsztyn, Zaksa against
Skra versus Zaksa. Skra versus Zaksa. Yeah, I don't mind that. That's on
NORV's next match is against Zawiercie.
Hey, there we go. That's prove it.
That's a very prove it moment.
Yeah.
There for Zawiercie. And then they play Nisa. The next big match, I'd say, Warszawa takes on Rzeszów, Resovia next Wednesday. Wednesday. So, Rob, it'll be on you to watch that one.
Yeah, you'll be busy. Can you tell people what you'll be up to next week?
Yeah, I can tell. I'll be in Brazil. I'll be in João Pessoa for the Elite 16 down there, working with. I'll be working with Volleyball World
for beach.
For beach, much the similar that I did in Vienna and Hamburg, but even more. So if you want to follow along, we'll be doing a lot of stuff on the Beach Volleyball World Instagram, and then over on the Volleyball World TikTok as well. So I may have been using our TikTok to get ready to do some other TikToking in the very near future. So yeah, if you want to follow along with that, I'll be in João Pessoa, Brazil next week, and then I'll be heading down to Rio as well for the Rio Elite 16 at the beginning of October. And I'm actually going a few days early, and I'm going to try to see if I can work in some of their Superliga matches, because
that would be cool.
Beginning of the season. So
are those on VBTV worldwide yet, or is it just within Brazil? I'm not even sure. I know they've got they've got some level of access to Brazil, or they're trying to figure out in the near future. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if that's official yet. We might be dropping news over here.
Maybe they're trying to. Maybe in the theme of the Bundesliga, they're trying to figure it out in the near future.
Maybe that's what happened. We'll just keep on dropping secrets until
and then they'll have no choice but to get after it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
not the worst idea I've ever heard.
But yeah, if you're in João Pessoa or Rio or Doha for the World Tour Finals, I will be there. And if you're around, come say hi.
Love it. All right, speaking of leagues that have been on VBTV for quite some time, let's talk about the Men's Superliga. Week 2 is in the books, and we're starting to get a little bit of who some teams are. Not entirely. There's still some teams with a lot left to figure out. Monza certainly comes to mind. They have nowhere near the roster that they hope to have later down the line, but got some 0-2 teams, got some 2-0 teams. The way it feels to me, Everett, and correct me if you think that I'm an idiot, is that there's Perugia and there's Trentino, and then there's everybody else.
That is essentially it is. But even like we saw Perugia be on the ropes with Patovo.
Yes, they were.
Padova this year, right? Like this week, like it. If they're not playing well, they can get upset. But yeah, no, I do believe that it's Perugia, Trentino, and everyone else. I really think that we've been seeing the effect of all of those that elite echelon of players, the 6 to 8 players who went over to Japan, you're starting to see that on either side, right? Where now things are wide open. I mean, the big one for me was Milano 3-donging Lube.
Yeah.
Right. And Milano looked absolutely terrible in the first week against Taranto. And then they turn around and absolutely slap Lube. Now, Lube is going to have some issues. Bonifante is not ready to be a starting setter in the Superliga.
It's okay. Give him an infinitely long leash. Let him figure it out. But at this very moment,
no. Absolutely not. So then this Milano team really turned things on in the second match. Mateo Kaczynski was much better. Ferry Regers. 14
for 22, 3 errors. Very good. It's 50% efficiency.
Was much better than he was in week one. And Milano looked like they played like a team. Milano looked like I hate to say it, but they looked like a Roberto Piazza team, right? that plays like a team and plays for each other. And it was the vibe of the Discord this weekend was very interesting. Surprisingly, there was a lot of Yuki Ishikawa hate because he was kind of struggling just after Milano slaps Lube, and then he's kind of struggling for the match against Perugia. And can we take a little bit of time to congratulate ourselves, Rob St. Clair, for having complained so much about the Superliga schedule that it looks like they've listened to us, and it looks like they finally stagger the matches. So far, through 2 weeks of the Superliga, there's only been 2 matches that have been played at the same time. There's 2 11 a.m. matches this past Sunday. Other than that, they've all been at separate times. This is amazing. I can literally, like on Sundays, I can sit down for like 6 hours. Like it is Super Bowl. It is like NFL Sunday,
NFL Red Zone.
But for volleyball, it is outstanding. I just need more screens now so that I can watch Superliga and Plusliga at the same time.
Best problem in the world to have. I'm looking at the schedule right now for this coming weekend, and you're right. There's not a single game with the exact same start time. Thank you to whoever in the Superliga front office has ditched their trench coat and has emerged from their cocoon as a beautiful volleyball butterfly. No more boomerism. This is good to see. I want to see them keep it up in the playoffs. That's when it really matters, not to schedule at the same time. But the viewing experience is definitely improving. I like that. I only had one more take on Lube is that when Alex Nikolov gets back, it's a completely different team.
Yeah, I that is going to be very interesting once they get back. So far, I will say that Lepke looks like he's been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't even start this game. Some Iranian kid, Poria Hossein, who I don't know anything about.
But he did come in. He was better. He was better off the bench. Like I thought he was half decent off the bench. Actually, he wasn't terrible. I thought he was better off the bench this week than he was as a starter last week.
Yeah. So, also, Legumja was really, really bad.
Legumja was terrible.
Quite bad.
Terrible.
Good for Milano. I mean, this was domination. Wasn't close at all, and a good riding of the ship after week 1. You brought it up earlier. Perugia weirdly struggled to put Padova away. I didn't really know what to make of that. I'll be honest. I did not watch this game, but if people in the Discord are hating on Yuki Ishikawa, I want you to tell me why might that be the case. What are his struggles here against an inferior team?
I think there was just like he up-blocked a lot, right? He had 8 errors overall, got blocked 5 times, 3 unforced errors, way more than anyone else on the team. Wasn't passing fantastically, wasn't serving great either. He finishes -1 on the day. I just to me, it was just some people on the Discord who are very emotional, let's say, about their superstars and superheroes, believe that this is a manga and that, ups and downs don't happen, and maybe that their favorite athletes of a certain nationality are way better than they actually think they are. They think they are better. And so, I think Yuki Ishikawa is a top 5 outside in this game right now, no doubt about it. And there is at times, because of the nature of volleyball, that like on any given day, he can be the best player in the world. But is he consistently? No. And I mean, I'm pretty sure at one point I saw people making comparisons to Goku, which is just unfair to Ishikawa to make that kind of comparison, right? So ultimately, I think that as much as Perugia was struggling, right? They did not have a great game on their side.
They also got nothing out of the opposite
They
position.
got
That didn't
nothing out of the opposite position. Bentara struggled. Herrera came in and
wailed a bunch of balls out of bounds.
yeah, it's hey, he's scoring. He's scoring for someone, right? He is a point ender. We just don't know for who. But I really thought that that Padova did a really good job. That they did a good job of keeping the pressure on and understanding what the opportunity was. They were pretty good in blocking with 10 blocks in the day. I thought Masulovic was very serviceable at 17 for 34. And they just spread things around nicely. I thought if Luca Porro had a better day, they would have won this match.
They probably would have won the match. Yeah.
If Luca Porro had a better day, this match would have been won. And I mean, like it went to the distance. They had a match point, I think. I don't know if they had a match point, but they were like within a point. Like it went 26-24 when they were 2-1. So. And as soon as they won the fourth, I was like, oh, it's over. This is over. Perugia is gonna win in 5. It was one of those that they had to win in 4, if nothing. But they made it interesting. And this Padova team is actually pretty interesting. Like they made me want to watch.
Okay, that's I mean that's about all you can say for a team coming from where Padova's coming from. I mean, I hope Perugia uses that as a wake up call, because you can't be losing to a team with where Marko Sedlacek was the second leading scorer. Can't happen.
No.
I wanted to talk about, we don't really need to talk about Trentino at all. They killed Toronto. There's no surprise at all. Shout out to my boy Dave Hancock, who was at the game. He's on his honeymoon in Northern Italy, and he and his now wife went and enjoyed a nice hour in a shower. So good for them. I also wanted to talk about Monza and Piacenza, because it was the Stephen Maher revenge game. He was quite good, had 12 points to tie for the team lead in scoring. Arthur Schwartz was very good as well, so a solid outing for the two Canadians. Monza, I'm not even making any judgments about them until they get Juan Terena, Zaitsev, and Taylor Averill available. Until that happens, I'm going to reserve all of my opinions about them. But my one opinion that will remain, and I'm going to go on this rant every single week of this show until something changes: get Uroš Kovacevic's ass off the floor. Get him off the floor. I can't watch it anymore. Start Efe Mandaraja. Anastasi, just do it.
Just do it. I know Kovacevic is the big contract and blah, 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 all this stuff. He has stunk up every single game this year. And Rob, so far in this early season, I've pinpointed 2 teams that I think should be very active in the Christmas and in the winter transfer market. First and foremost, I think Luke Lublin should go out and get themselves an opposite. If there is an opposite available on the market and they can bring someone in to balance out that offense. Kevin Sasek is pretty good, but not great. And he is definitely the weak link, and people are going to start keying in on him. So if Lublin can go out and pick up someone on the right side, I think they could be deadly. And I think that Piacenza needs to go out and get a world-class left side, because every other piece of this team is there. Every other piece of this team. And hell, actually, no, scratch that. They don't even need a world-class outside. They just need a guy who's not going to be -3 in little under 2 sets, in like a little over a set and a half of play.
He's so bad.
He's so bad. He's so slow.
Oh my God. He's so unathletic. He doesn't jump. He doesn't swing. He doesn't pass. If you're gonna be unathletic, you at least have to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Can't even do that. Mandaraj is smoking him in passing numbers every time he comes off the bench. I don't know what it is if Piacenza's owner, because of the contract, is requiring Anastasi to start Kovacevic every game. What that reminds me of is Deshaun Watson with the Cleveland Browns minus all the allegations, because it's the exact same thing that's going on there. He is being forced to start from way above the head coach, even though he is objectively a worse choice for the team's success. So I'm going to go on this rant every single week until Kovacevic lands his ass on the bench where he belongs. I don't think that Piacenza needs to make any moves. I don't. I think that they are built just fine. I think Stephen Marr and Efe Mandaraja is a very good outside hitter duo, and the young Turkish kid just needs to start and give him a long leash.
Give him
Start him.
Please, Anastasi. We know you're horse shit. We know you're terrible, but just be decent for once. Like Paul Rudd once said, can you just be a decent human being for once in your life? If someone knows that movie, I would be.
I don't. You lost me. We have 2 more games to talk about. Modena got a win. Good for them. They beat Gratazzolina. I have very little to say on the matter.
Verona versus Cisterna was actually
that was the game I wanted to close with because it looks like it was good.
It was actually interesting. And you know what? I'm also willing to say that Verona has one of the best home crowds and home atmospheres.
I agree with that.
In the Super
I agree with
Liga.
that from 2 years ago.
I love the new school vibe of like the coaches or the couches around the court, and people are there to party. Like they pump that team up. They can't pass the ball.
No, they cannot.
And for some reason, they still have Mads Kjeld Jensen starting, but they're still entertaining to watch.
Why can't
that much.
Nomori Keita is a star. He has been in the Superliga now for, I think, 3 years. And for some reason, Radoslav Stoichev won't play him at his position. Nomori Keita is an opposite. And he goes on the left side off the bench in this match and drops 28. And he was awesome, especially out of system where Verona literally lives. When Rokmosic gets back, when Rokmosic is once again able to play, that starting lineup must be Mosic and Javaronak on the left and Keita on the right. There's no other option for what the best choice is for that team's lineup.
I will say, though, Rob, that for some reason, Javaronak was getting served in this one. Nomori Keita's numbers on serve receive, not terrible.
Not bad, but 12 targets in 5 sets?
Yeah,
is
come on.
Horrendous.
Come on,
unforgivable serving from Cisterna. What are you doing
right now? I don't even know.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, but that is table. On the other side, Cisterna is this two-headed monster of Theo Fall and Jordi Ramon. Both of those guys are swinging for the fence. Theo Fall was really good. His hitting numbers were great. His efficiency, not so much. 7 errors. But Jordi Ramon was 21 for 35 with an ace and a block. Only 1 error.
Spanish volleyball, ladies and gentlemen. He did get ace 7 times.
I did take some swipes at Spanish volleyball on TikTok this week.
Why? Because they're irrelevant, or like what was?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's what I was saying, and I was just like, someone was like, "Oh, Brendan Rattray is a world-class player," and I was like, he had a couple of nice scenes in Spain, and then someone was just like, "I'm on the board of the men teams, and you should watch your mouth," and I was just like, I think we're gonna have a blast when we're together of you listening to me TikTok and answer people.
I'm gonna be filming you filming yourself. It's gonna be very funny. I'm highly looking forward to it.
But yeah, Jordi Ramon, he has been really, really, really good so far this season. He was a +9 in this one. Teofal was a +7 overall.
Great serving for Verona. 9 aces, 17 errors. If that's outstanding for 5 sets. Really good. If they can keep that up, they can't keep that up. Serving is very volatile, and they're coached by Radoslav Stoichev. But when they do serve like that, and Keita pops off, then they're going to beat some teams.
Yeah. And Konstantin Abayev. Interesting.
What a weird signing.
But it's
such a Verona signing.
It is such a Verona signing.
Such a Verona signing.
A Verona signing,
an irrelevant foreign setter is such a Verona signing. I mean, they had Jovovic last year. They had 42-year-old Rafael the year before that.
That Stoichev just loves the Eastern Europeans.
Do they have a token Bulgarian guy this year? Because they always do.
Yeah, Abayev.
I thought Abayev was Russian.
Okay, well, I might as
close enough.
Close enough. I'm sorry. I don't want to typecast here, but
I mean, he needs somebody whose name ends in V, and he's got one. That's the Bulgarian thing. All right.
Oh, he is Russian. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Either way, that's a very Verona signing. All right, a couple more things to get to before we do that. A reminder, like we already brought up earlier in the show, the amount of volleyball that can be watched on VBTV is expanding tremendously, and there is literally no other option for watching anything volleyball wise in the world. There just isn't. And so you need a VBTV subscription, and we can save you money when you choose to do so. So hit the code VS10, VS10 for 10% off your VBTV subscription. And there's a link in the description here if you want to go pick that up. Definitely go do that. Otherwise, you're going to be completely lost, especially when it comes national team summer. So that is a no-brainer. And beach, too, if you want to see what Everett is doing in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. You might even get to hear me on the broadcast.
Oh,
it's a small possibility. It's a small if Kyle Friend and Travis Merriweather ever invite me on.
Well, they must do that. Let's talk about everybody's favorite segment. Let's talk about Where's Daddy. And Everett, I've got a Hall of Famer for you here. I've got a Hall of Famer for you here in the Where's Daddy segment. So, as a preface to this, we hide my hero, Daddy Stankovic, in every show, and everyone's got to try and find him. And when you do so, you comment the timestamp, and you get a shout out the following week. So, last week we were congratulating Zawiercie on winning the Polish Super Cup. And if you zoom in closer to the staff,
nice.
the tallest man there on the stand has been substituted as Daddy Stankovic. And that prompted my new favorite viewer, Asinmodo1251, to drop this legendary comment on last week's episode. Quote, "Boy, oh boy, where do I even begin? Daddy Stankovic, honey, my Pookie bear, I have loved you ever since I first laid eyes on you. The way you drive into the paint and strike fear into your enemy's eyes." I assume this is a copy pasta from basketball. "Your silky smooth touch around the net and that gorgeous face. I would do anything for you just so that I would never have to watch you retire. You have changed the game of volleyball and the world forever, but you've eternally changed my world. Now you're getting older, yet you are still the GOAT, my GOAT. I love you, Pookie Bear, my glorious king, Daddy Stankovic."
Oh my goodness, my glorious king. We have awesome. Someone who's so annoying in the Discord who says my glorious king out Ishikawa. I wonder if it's the same person.
It's just that these Gen Z kids have all this vocabulary that I can't keep up with. But even though I don't think that Asinmodo was the first person to find Daddy Stankovic, but that is the best comment in the history of the segment. So congratulations to you. Anthony Lee also found him, as he says, "It must have been some great coaching from Daddy that Zawiercie got the victory." Couldn't agree more. So keep an eye out for Daddy on this week's show. When you find him, make sure you comment the timestamp of where he is. And if you can top that copy pasta, it had to be, Bear Kai says or somebody says it's a LeBron James copy pasta. Definitely makes sense. If you can beat that, try it in the comments. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one for sure.
All right, let's talk about some women's ball. Women's volley is back. The two best leagues in the world are back. The Liga Volley Feminile is back, and the Turkish Sultanlar League is back. We got things to talk about in both. Let's start with Italy, Everett. And I know there was one particular match with a team that you and I both kind of stand last year that you wanted to bring up to kick things off.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Chieri, we are big on Chieri last year. And, man, we are big on Chieri this year. They open up their season with a big 3-2 win over Novara. And now this it just resurges an old rivalry from last year, too. Because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, didn't Novara beat Chieri in the finals of the CEV Cup?
It wasn't CEV Cup. They played a bunch of times. They played because they were like the 4 and 5 all last year. I think Chieri beat him in the Coppa Italia, then Novara beat him in the playoffs. So they played a lot, and it was very good scheduling by the league to put this week 1. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, I did too. But sorry, I was tripping Brooklyn in the chat for a second there. Let me rezone and find my stats for this one, because I actually did watch this one too. Once again, it is amazing that I can just sit down and watch volleyball all Sunday long.
It's awesome. My girl Avery Skinner, she made the YouTube thumbnail this week for dropping 17. 17 for 42. That was nice.
Yes.
She did get ace 5 times, but she hung in there well, and I think she won MVP of the match. Yeah, she did. So love to see that. One of relatively few high-profile Americans playing in Europe this year with the advent of League One. But when they drop banger performances, I will certainly be one to highlight them.
Yeah, I really liked the addition of Lucille Jiquel, who's the opposite from
Good
France
for her for making the jump to Italy.
on the right side. She dropped. Yeah, exactly. She had was 18 points in this one with 9 break points, which is massive, and a +7 overall, which was huge. And then when I look on the Novara side of things, Mayu Ishikawa just left on her and Tatiana Tolok. No idea who Tolok is. This is going to have to be a little bit of a search time. At least this is a real player, unlike Alyssa Valdez. I'm being told that Alyssa Valdez is the best player in volleyball.
Is that a TikTok comment?
That is a consistent TikTok comment. A consistent TikTok comment that Alyssa Valdez is not like the best player ever. Like someone literally said they're like Agonu and Zhu Ting don't even play in the PVL. They're not at her level. Like that is the level of insanity that we have over on TikTok.
I'm gonna pretend that you didn't even say that because that comment is so ridiculous. So speaking of, I just looked her up too. Speaking of signings that are totally classic for teams, this is a classic Novara signing. A classic Novara signing. A young Russian wing that can play either side, and they looks like they stuck her on the right side. Yep, absolutely. And she went 20 for 49, 10 errors, but a lot of break points. I think is that 11 break points. That's completely ridiculous. And I assume she's really young. Yep, 2003. So yeah, this is a classic Novara signing. And she's not as big as some of the other Russians that Novara's brought in. She's 1.92 meters. Pretty big. But this is a very classic Novara signing, and I'm excited to watch this girl because I didn't get to see this game.
2003.
Yeah.
She young.
Oh yeah.
She young. So
Novara's good too. Like this Novara roster on paper is very good. I really like them in the middle. I think Bosio's a good setter. This Tolok girl going to be interesting to watch her develop on the right side. And I don't know if setting Mayu Ishikawa 46 balls is necessarily the best plan, but she delivered pretty nicely. I mean, 22 for 46, 7 errors in 5 sets, not terrible. Good reception.
Yeah. It's good. It's going to be very interesting to watch Ishikawa play on this. There's like a few more Japanese players in the Liga Volley Femminile this year.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Nanami Seki is the backup setter on Caneliano, right?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I won't lie, Rob, that this year the Liga Volley Femminile, you mentioned it before, with all of the American players leaving. I need to refamiliarize myself completely almost with Liga Volley Femminile, because there used to be every team had a handful, at least 3-4 Americans. No longer the case.
Yeah, we need Tommy Blizzard to teach us the way, and we're still working on that. Don't worry.
Like, do you know who Gabriela Orvosova is?
Vaguely.
She dropped 27 for Roma this weekend.
Yeah.
Anastasia Krajduba?
Nope, don't know that one.
Let's look up Krajduba because and honestly, I'm excited about this, and I think she's Ukrainian. Krajduba is Ukrainian. It's her second year in the league. She played for Firenze last year.
Cool. So here's the results from the whole weekend. I didn't find anything else that was particularly surprising. We do get. It's funny that they played Roma and Tall Masons, like the two new teams that got promoted. They played them against each other week 1. Corneliano donged Busto, whatever. We already talked about Chiari Novara. Scandici had a nice debut outing for the year. Malonza without Paola Egonu had a nice debut outing for the year. And I think what I was reading through the translate function is that Egonu is it some kind of illness and it's going to be out a few weeks?
I think I saw that as well too, but I'm not 100%.
Somebody sure. in the chat here, please let us know if we're right or way off about that from from an Egonu perspective. But Malone's is going to try and stay afloat until she gets back. Berkay says that Orvasova is an awesome pickup for Chieri, and that they stole her from Beşiktaş, one of the Turkish teams.
Yeah, interesting. So, I'm going to have to teach myself completely, other than Conigliano and Malonza, for the most part, tonsillitis. She's getting surgery for tonsillitis.
Ooh,
Sinus
okay.
infection, tonsillitis. All in that, just like in the same vein that like Bulgaria and Serbia are close to Russia, tonsillitis, sinus infection, all the same stuff.
Nice clapback. I had my tonsils removed. It was horrible.
I don't think I've had mine removed.
You would know if you did. I'll tell you that much. That is not a fun surgery or recovery process.
Wait, real quick. Bulgaria was never part of the Soviet Union. I don't believe that for a second, Berkay.
Yeah, I won't chime in on that one in fear of being way wrong about Eastern European history. Let's see. Do we have stats for this next game? That yes,
I was wrong. I apologize. They were never officially part of the Soviet Union. I take it back. I've been humbled.
There's a first time for everything. Let's talk about the Turkish league a little bit. At least like one very notable result getting started. Everett, we got to keep a very close eye on Vakifbank this year.
Yeah, and this one was doubly bad for me too, because the big signing for Vakifbank in this offseason was none other than my girl, Kira Van Rijk, and there was definitely a lack of Kira Van Rijk in that first match. So where are the stats?
I've got them. By the way, big shout out to both Turkish leagues, men's and women's, for putting their stats over to Volley Station this year. So that's fantastic news. Yeah, big step
huge.
Up. Kira Van Rijk, 6 for 18, 6 errors, 0% efficiency, only 5 service attempts. That is horrendous. That's very bad. By the way, the score of this match, 25-21, 25-22, 25-15. Galatasaray with a 3-0 start the season. Yeah, bad from Vakifbank across the board. Very bad for Van Rijk. Marina Markova was good. I won't say bad across the board because she was good, but everybody else totally invisible. Gibagiolu bad. Zara Gunesh very bad. Yuan Jinwei was subbed out mostly because of the foreigner limit. Bassetti very bad to start her Vakifbank career. I can't say I'm super surprised about like this particular Vakifbank roster having issues. I mean, they lose Gabi, who's an absolute superstar, and they don't really replace her. And like they don't have. I mean, I love Kira Van Rijk, Everett, as we both do. She's not on the level of the opposites that Vakifbank is used to, other than Jordan Thompson last year, who was, I would say, the main thing that held them back from reaching a lot of their goals. So I just don't really like the way this team is built particularly well. Like who do you set the ball to when you really need a point? You don't have that player anymore on Gabi or previously Egonu or Hawks team.
I mean, I think Markova can be that player. Also, Kira can be that player, and she usually is. Like, let's be honest, and that's why she's been brought on, because of the amount of volume that she's been able to do for the past few seasons for THY, right? And we've seen it with the Canadian national team too. She can be that player. Markova also can be that player, but she needs to hit better than 10% efficiency. But me, it comes down to Yeonjin Yu, right? Like, who is leading this team in the setting position? This team hit. Oh wait, sorry. I was looking at this team
is a myth.
Sorry, you're right. Who's setting for this team? Oh,
I don't know who Sila Jalis Khan is. I assume she's Turkish, and I do not understand why, if Cansu Uzbay is healthy, what she's doing starting on the bench. Berkay, please give us some feedback on what the heck's going on there at their setter position, because that's confusing me a lot as well, looking at this score sheet. I do, though, I want to give credit to Galatasaray, because speaking of rosters that are built well, that's a pretty good one. I mean, Katarina Lazovic, of all people, was awesome. She dropped 15. Alexia Karutsasu, who's like the backup oppo on Vakifbank forever, who I'm pretty sure she actually started a career with Galatasaray when she was like 18 and coming out of Romania. So she's back in a starting role, and she was good. Britt Bongartz is a good setter. Eileen Timmerman is a pretty good middle blocker. Like that actually, it's weird to say that might be a better team on paper than Vakifbank.
We'll see. It really comes down to how good Karatasu can be. And she played for Yeselyurt actually before she played for Galatasaray. But throughout this entire time, she's been owned by Vakifbank. I'm pretty sure. Like she is owned by Vakifbank and is on loan, or at least she was back then with Yeselyurt and Galatasaray. I'm not entirely sure if that is still the case. Yeah, but yeah, no, I think like she's another one who wants to get nationalized by Turkey and potentially try to play for Turkey.
I don't think that's going to be possible for them. They can only have one naturalized player, and the only one they have plays the same position as her.
Yeah, exactly. So, I really rate Karatasu. I remember back in the day when she was playing for Yeselyurt because they won the Challenge Cup that year, and she was playing with Jen Cross. And Jen Cross was telling me, Jen Cross is a former captain of the Canadian women's national team, and she was telling me that Karatasu at that age reminded her of a young Isabel Hawk at the same age, because Jen had actually started her career in Sweden and had played with a young Isabel Hawk back then. So that is when you're getting compared, when Alexia Karatasu is getting compared to Isabel Hawk, she's quality.
Very high praise. Another Turkish league game that popped onto my radar was Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce stomped on THY, another perennial like sort of contender, but there was no contending happening in this match. It was 14-19-14. Quick hour and 9-minute 3-0. Ana Cristina was good. Melissa Vargas was automatic with 20 in 3 sets, which is ridiculous. Fenerbahce looks very clearly like the best team in this league. I don't think that is surprising to anybody. But also at Eczacıbaşı 3-donged an inferior opponent. And let's see, Boskovic was good. And
she was.
Yeah, those are my only takeaways. I mean, this to me, the Sultanlar Ligi has always been basically just a 3-team league, and in my opinion, this year it's a 2-team league unless Vakifbank proves otherwise. Vakifbank on paper to me is not at contending level in any way, and I'm real curious if Giovanni Gudetti's seat heats up at all, or if it's just like the reality of the rosters that they're constructing, that it's just not what they used to be.
Yeah, I agree. Like whenever I want to watch Sultanlar Ligi, there's 3 teams that I want to watch. Like if those 3 teams are playing against each other, that's what I'm interested in. Sorry, guys, you just don't have the depth yet that the other leagues have.
Berkay says Sultanlar Ligi's 4-9 range is better than ever. Berkay, I believe you. I just haven't watched it yet because there's a lot of volleyball to be consumed. Everett, let's stay in Turkey for one very major, and honestly, this is a sad piece of news. Less than a week after winning the Turkish Super Cup, Arkaspor Izmir has announced that they are voluntarily dropping out of the top league in Turkey next year. Budgetary reasons. I mean, the press release, they said they want to focus on the youth levels and like the volleyball education piece. That's a load of garbage. We see through that immediately. They don't have the money. They must have lost sponsors. That's the only possible way that a team of this pedigree and this consistent competitive level would choose to drop out of the top league and to announce it this early. This is very sad, and I know you have a lot of attachment given the Glenn Hoag connection and the Canadian history. So,
dude, it goes back further than that. The Canadian attachment to Glenn Hoag or to Arkas Izmir actually goes back to Paul Durden, and Paul Durden, who's one of our greats, played there and won like the European Cup before like Champions League and everything was a thing. Like I'm pretty sure they beat like JW or something in the final of the European Cup. So like my first notion at any level of club professional volleyball was Durden winning that European Cup. Now I can't remember if it was CEV Cup or anything like that. But yeah, if Berkay, if you could please explain it and give us a little bit more insight, that would be great. But then, like for years, because Glenn Hoag used to be at Bled, ACH Bled in Slovenia, and then he moved to Arkas, all of my favorite players have always gone, "Oh, he wants to come onto the show. Can we do that? Is that a possibility?"
Let me see if that's a possibility.
I can take the reins while you can take care of that on the back end. But yeah, like all of my favorite players have gone to play for Arcus, and like me being aware of the Champions League and learning about professional volleyball stems from watching Arcus, because all of the best Canadian players went there. So like I've seen, I know like Rodman's Hair has talked about it in the Discord quite a bit, that there's no doubt about it that men's or women's, Arcus Izmir has been the best development club for Turkish volleyball, bar none. And the amount of players that they have developed for the national team and the other teams kind of across the country has been fantastic. So it does make sense that this is a team that went ahead and, you know, really wants to focus on that development. However, it is sad because once we talked about those quality programs and those quality led programs within the Everett League is even less, I would say, than it is in the Sutenlar League, right? And Arcus has been one of those teams for the better part of a decade, if not more, closer to 15 years. And it's really sad to, like, this is a team that has been a top 4 team, was a top 4 team last year, and, you know, went out and won the Super Cup to start the season. This is not a team that is struggling, and it's really
it
tough
sucks.
to see.
Anytime a team loses sponsors and has to drop out, or whatever the story is that Berkay is hopefully about to tell us, it sucks. But this team of all programs, like you said, the pedigree of development, all of the major Turkish national team people that have started in the Arcus Izmir club, it sucks. Also, is Discord got banned in Turkey? That is the worst. And no, I cannot put a chat link in this YouTube link. Otherwise, every single person watching is going to try and join in the show. So, Berkay, we're going to have to figure out another way to communicate with you. I did not know that. I guess the Turkish government banned Discord. That's really a shame. Everett, I need you. I would love to hear from either Glenn. You talk to Glenn Hogue or talk to anybody who is over there. Is Nick still there? Is he still on the team? What is Nick even doing this year? Either way, I want to. I want to learn more about this because it's sad news.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you can add to the situation, Berkay, in the chat for us? Now we wait for 30 seconds for like 30 seconds to a minute for him. No, he's playing in Qatar. He's playing in Doha.
Yeah, that actually is
sick. I'm gonna go visit Nick Hogue in Doha when I go down there.
When you're there for beach, that's cool.
No, Nick is big. Nick likes his red wine. Oh yeah, Nick is. I'm pretty sure Nick is a big red wine drinker. So I'll have to bring a few bottles.
I like it. So unless Berkay can figure this, he can bypass his own government's restrictions.
What? But can someone, like, we have Discord is banned in Turkey? How? What? Why?
Yeah, that's news to me. That's news to me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Is there anything else we want to talk about here, Rob? Well,
I don't think so. Berkay, let's coordinate better, and let's get you on next week's show to explain this.
Yeah, because I do want to talk about this. I do think it's important. Is there anything about any other leagues? The only thing I've tapped into the French league so far is that Engapeth is undefeated, I'm pretty sure.
And just the media attention that he's getting looks like it's insane. I mean, as it should be. And also Lundberg looks really good in Germany so far, is something that I noticed.
Gießen looks really good in Germany, I think. I'm pretty sure Gießen, if I'm not mistaken, is undefeated. No, they've lost to Berlin, but then they beat Friedrichshafen and Düren already.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lundberg's got a bunch of Americans like they always do. They have
Lundberg.
They beat
Lundberg lost to Düren and then beat Bitterfield, Netzhoppers, and VCO Berlin. So
yeah, whatever.
That's like Scraw.
Sort of is. All right. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Berkay, I promise we will figure out a way to communicate with you and get you on next week's show to explain what the hell is going on in your country right now. Probably in several ways. It would be worth it for Berkay to school us on a number of subjects. But thank you all for watching. We will let you know when the show next week is going to be, because Everett will be leaving for Brazil. which I'm
Bastille.
very excited for you to hear some good stories. What's going on beach down there?
Well, we're gonna have to do the show with me. Yeah, I'll be all live on location when I do the show next week.
Will you really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
If you want, I can probably do it from the venue.
Let's do that. That would be electric.
Yeah, like right on the Pacific Ocean. Also, straight up, I don't know why we didn't start this, but thoughts and prayers to every one of our fans in Florida right now. Jeez, y'all have just been getting smoked, and thinking about you tonight as Milton gets
100%. Southeastern United States and Florida is about to get smacked by another very serious hurricane, like basically the second in a couple weeks. So hang in there, y'all in Florida. We're thinking about you, and we'll see you next week to talk some more volley.
Peace.